It is Monday morning. Welcome, Guy here, and going out to Niners practice today. They've got a noon practice. They've shifted practice a little bit later, noon today, and then off to Vegas practice tomorrow, and then off to Vegas on Wednesday, and joint practice with the Raiders on Thursday. And I think it's going to be a morning practice because it's going to be hot. So. That's the plan for the week. Producer Conor Collins is in the middle of a move, end of an era. He's leaving his apartment in San Francisco, but he made some time. I'll bring him in here in a second because we got some stuff, some Q&A, some reactions. And I think keys to the week against the Raiders. To me, the biggest thing this week, and I want to get to something specific from the last game that goes into practice and goes into the next week, which is Nick Martin. But I think the highlight of this week is Nick Martin and Dee Winters and Brock Bowers and Ashton Jeanty. That's one of the things that is at the very top of the list. I think anybody from the first preseason game that flashed a little bit, that did some good things, that had some opportunity, whatever it is, guys you're going to rely on, like Alfred Collins, like C.J. West, like Jordan Watkins, right? It's pretty easy to tell who some of these guys are. Nick Martin will become one. There's no doubt. As we talk about, like, through the preseason into the regular season, the development of Nick Martin, I think one thing is clear. There is no question at some point he's going to play meaningful snaps this year. You just look at the linebacker depth chart. It's Dee Winters, Fred Warner, Luke Gifford. I mean, Luke Gifford, probably not familiar to most people, played a lot of football. Like, there are guys, the stars is what sells the league. The backbone of the league are guys who play 6, 7, 8 years, who are heroes at their high school program, are on the wall in their college program. Your average NFL fan may not know, myself included. Like, I'm on the couch, you're not like, oh, Saran Neal, number 33 for the Niners. What's his deal? Oh, I've been in the league like 9 years, 2,000 special team snaps. Luke Gifford, what's his deal? Oh, he might start at linebacker when the Niners go 3 linebackers, played 6+ years in the league, ton of special team snaps. So those guys matter, but at linebacker, they're just not. Nick Martin is going to get an opportunity. So, and then the other thing this week, remember, it was a joke, but it happened. Max Crosby said a while ago, there's going to be a fight. Niners-Raiders camp. Niners-Broncos last week had a very clean operation. The AFC West is filled with highly professional the Chiefs, well-oiled machine. Sean Payton, well-oiled machine. The Chargers, Harbaugh knows what it takes. Pete Carroll, well-oiled machine. But the Raiders got that Raider DNA. What's going to happen this week? So we'll look at that. Also, I have some criticisms to respond to. I take on the haters today. Not really. But producer Conor is here. I'm going to need his opinion on something specifically. But here he is. Everybody, last time Conor was on, people loved it. The people loved the last time you were on. So I'm glad you're back, and you don't have your mic. You got an empty room, acoustics. That's okay. We've all moved out at San Francisco at one point. So
that's right.
It was a good run.
Absolutely good run. But no article today. We're going to work on some articles. Been a little bit busy.
Yeah, Conor's been you went to Bandon Dunes, and then you got to move. The last time you were on, yeah, that's right. You've got the remind me the name of the Substack.
Joko Show.
Good
thing you whispered
it. But you haven't. The last article you wrote was very good. So I look forward to. Yeah, you should do some more stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
What do you want? What do you got? We got a few things. What did you think? What are your takes since you watched the Niners? Do you have any big takes coming out of it? And I got one thing I want to play for you here in a second, but.
Yeah, I mean, overview, it's preseason, first game. You can't overreact, but excellent call, excellent, production from the 49ers broadcast team, first and foremost. Junior Bergen, if he can be a legit special teams returner and last a while, I would love maybe just one thing, get a little bit better on the special teams. We don't know the kicking situation, but can we get one thing an inch better on the special teams for the 49ers? Jordan Watkins was a highlight.
Okay.
Nice to see a speed receiver, maybe someone taking a step, taking a leap. And then the not so good, Alfred Collins. He looks so slow. and vertical, and I don't know. That was not the best performance. Nick Barton did force a fumble. And Guy, my question is, do you think there's 4 fumbles in the game on Saturday? Do you think there's more fumbles in preseason? They don't hit ever at practice. The ball was on the ground all the time. Is it just like reps or is that something they're hitting hard, or is that purely rust?
A good question. I don't know. I hadn't thought about it in that context. So it's a good question. I mean, it's got to be no one's really getting hit in practice. Like really.
Yep.
You go to the joint practice, there's like a little more pop in a few of those studs, but still. And then, I mean, I'm just so aware. I was talking to a few people who've called the NFL before last week, and I'm like, what should I be, having done a lot of college, but I've never called an NFL game. They're like, well, the speed there's so much more speed. And like Nick Bonito, I'm watching him going like, yeah, there's so much more speed. But then you get a little further down, I mean, there were some weird ones. The one like pump throw from Tanner Mordecai was a weird one.
Jimmy G, Alex Smith type fumble there.
It was. That's a good question. I mean, there's got to be something to that, right? The fact that you haven't been hit, like really been hit. But I will say this too, like not to let anybody off the hook. These guys do punch at you don't tackle, but they do punch at the ball like crazy. The Amir Abdullah one's a great example. Amir Abdullah, 11 years in the league, gets a helmet to the rib cage, right? He fumbled on that. That might just be a fumble, Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I thought was interesting. And then, I don't know, picked up on that a little bit. Sebastian Valdez.
You into it?
UW undrafted. He's a player. I mean, he looks like – I like the no gloves look from these UW former D linemen. He looks a little undersized. But yeah, overall
he stays low.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, preseason. How much can you take from game 1 of the preseason? I mean, it's I can't overreact in everything, but reps, right? It's all reps.
Yeah, and I think too, like every team is different. So you watch a team and you go, well, these guys have a competition at tight end. So anything happened there? Or these guys have a competition at nickel. So did anything happen there? I think all that stuff, like Mac Jones, looks exactly like he should. I think Mac Jones on the YouTube videos in the thumbnail. But Mac Jones looks exactly like he should. Offensive line play, you hope you're not at, I do think they've got an issue at backup tackle because they don't have one who can swing. And I don't even know if they've got a true left tackle or right tackle, like a strong sixth guy, So that does feel like a real thing. Although, Shanahan defended some of the especially those Nick Bonito plays. And one of them was not on Spencer Burford. That was Luke Farrell trying to get across, and Bonito didn't bite on a run fake, and he was in the backfield. It's like, oh, well, that's a long way for the tight end to go.
That was a Brock Purdy play in the NFC title game.
I know. There's a couple things, like you watch the game back, and Tim Ryan is such a pro, because I said on that play, like the tight end, like hard to block Bonito with a tight end or something, just in real time, And to his credit, he's like, well, he said it in a way, which I don't mind getting. This guy knows football. I'm just saying what I think I see. So I don't mind if he said, no, guy, but he didn't say that. He just said, oh, it's a long way for the tight end to go. And he's right. You see the replay, it's just a long way. It's not like Luke Farrell got beat. It was just a long way for him to go. So, but any other takes you had before I get to a couple other things here?
I mean, no more Niner takes. I have one thought about the actual production of the game. Did you watch back the highlights? I mean, you watched the game and called the game, but are these cameras more zoomed out in this booth versus like a Fox or a different NFL regular season?
You're saying the game cameras, like shooting the field?
Shooting the fields. I'm saying passing plays, these cameras look more zoomed out. It looks like you could see these routes develop much better. Or I don't know if that's a new NFL thing or if this is a different sort of production thing.
Good observation. Looks like it's different. I don't know.
5 yards. I'll pull up some photos. Maybe I can show them later.
No. It makes total sense. I get what you're saying. I don't know the answer to that question, but I hadn't noticed that. You're saying you liked it or you didn't? You didn't like it.
I liked it when it comes to passing routes.
Yeah,
you can watch You can watch and you'll Fox will like pan over, as Purdy's releasing the ball to Jennings, like, oh, he's open.
Right. Interesting.
So, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
there's
different philosophies. I don't know if there. It's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. But good. Look at you. That's very observant. It's very observant. I thought I would play something. Oh, by the way, QB tiers came out today. Sandoz QB tiers. People are asking, what do you think of QB tiers? Can't Sandoz QB? We can live react to those. Actually coming up. Actually, we can do it right now. What's your get? Don't look. You haven't looked yet.
I haven't looked at the screen. No.
What I already looked and I didn't guess in my head. What tier and what number do you think Brock Purdy is? What tier and when? Last year, Brock was tier 2 with 34 tier 2 votes and 16 tier 3 votes. Okay, what tier do you think Purdy is in now?
Man, were they bringing down to tier 3? I'd say tier 2 still.
Yeah.
And number 12 overall.
Okay. 12. So good guess. Purdy is tier 2 and he's 14.
Okay.
Tier 1, here we go. Mike Sando, tiers list. We should remake the thumbnail. This is more interesting. But tier 1, Mahomes, Burrow. Josh Allen is number 3. Lamar Jackson, number 4. Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was down in tier 2 last year. And now he's up into tier 1. Obviously, he's been dealing with some back issues. It sounds like he's going to be okay. But tier 2, at the top of tier 2, number 6, Jaden Daniels. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Goff, 8. Stroud, that's down a little bit for Stroud, 2 spots. Goff is up 2 spots. But still, number 9 for Stroud. Maybe he was around 7 last year. Jalen Hurts is up 2 spots to 9. Baker is 11th. He was in tier 3 last year. Dak is 12th. Jordan Love is 13. Brock Purdy, 14. It's so crowded here. You can tell Stroud and Hurts and Goff and Baker all kind of in the same range. Obviously, Brock is 2. Tier 3, Kyler, Aaron Rodgers, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Geno, Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, Drake May. To me, this is tier 3, Kyler. I know I'm not saying Kyler's tier 2, but I also don't think he's in,
Drake May.
I would have him, Bo Nix even, Geno even. But, I guess all these guys, there's something going on there. And Jaden Daniels is kind of getting last year's CJ Stroud treatment, right?
Yeah.
For a young player, I still think there can be some big variations. I get it though. I don't, I personally, as people know this, I would rather have Brock than Dak or Baker. That's probably been the guy we've talked about the most. But I understand the Baker stuff. Baker, I have to also shake some of my early not preconceived, but evaluations of Baker. What he's done with his career, I'm on the record a huge fan of how the perseverance. There are only so many guys that pull it off. I would put Alex Smith in that category. Young quarterbacks who overcome bad situations, who fail, who get mismanaged, and get criticized and get benched and get all of that stuff. Guys who come in with a lot of expectations, a lot of attention, bright lights, and overcome it. And Baker has, first of all, his value's off the charts based on his contract. He's an explosive player. I think he's raised his floor, which is really the key for him. Less crazy, weird plays, but he still has a few of them. But anyway, there you go. Let's read some of the Purdy here. He does more on tape, said an opposing coach, than I think a lot of guys can do in terms of anticipation and accuracy. Yes, it faltered at times, but I get the sense he was playing through some things. When he's healthy and on, I don't think there's a lot of guys at the level he's at. Said at DC, when you play San Fran, you're thinking about McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk. Purdy will get it to them, but not necessarily thinking about Purdy. You're facing their defense and all these skill guys with Kyle Shanahan. Said a head coach, Purdy doesn't get enough credit. The draft is over. Okay, the guy's played his ass off. Recognize that with an exclamation. That's definitely a text. A text from him. He is not the last. Yeah, that's how they text. He's not the last pick of the draft anymore. This guy's 1 away from being a 1 for some people. If you won a Super Bowl. Oh, tier 1 guy if you won a Super Bowl. I think is what that means. I'm fine with Purdy, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think he's always going to be in that range. And then for whatever reason, he can't get above, there's no way he's going to get above a 5 with where he was drafted, with the system he's in, it seems like this. And I'm fine with that. He's unassuming, and that's what I think that's where he wants to be, in a way that's, he is a point guard. He said it a lot of times, like, I'm a point guard, and, I've got to distribute the ball and do my job, right? He doesn't have a huge ego around this, it seems like. And so what was he, 7 a few years ago after 2023? Was he
no, I don't think he was that high.
11?
At his 24 rank. These are just tiers. What was his rank? Vote average 2.5. I don't. Yeah, I mean, that feels right. I know it's probably here somewhere, and I'm not seeing it, but
he's. It seems he has this ceiling around him when it comes to quarterback rankings for all these different reasons that we've talked about.
Yeah, I would also say there's still a lot of football to be played. He is solidly tier 2. I don't think there's any that's where I would have him. I like tiers. I think when we talk about rankings, I said this last year, to me, from a ranking standpoint, he belongs in the 8 to 12 range at any given time. I think Jared Goff's another guy kind of like Baker, where he just deserves so much credit, and I think you just keep that in the back of your mind when you think about Brock or any other quarterback. It's a long way to go before you establish what your final positioning is. But if every year the 49ers are getting a solid tier 2, and I think I could be wrong. I feel like tier 2 normally isn't 14 guys. I feel like 14th is usually the start of tier 3. So it feels like there's a lot of tier 2, and we're all trying to figure out with these guys, who is will any of these guys become tier 1? Well, it looked like CJ Stroud was about to be tier 1, or everyone's been waiting on Justin Herbert to be tier 1. Jaden Daniels runs it back. Maybe then he'll be tier 1. Is Hurts ever going to get to tier 1? I don't think so, but that's okay. Right. You can win a championship if your guy is every year, his floor is tier 2. And I do think, I think a better Brock year, and he can be right in here in the 8-9 range. And that's really good. If you pay your quarterback what they're paying him, and he is every year around 7, 8, 9, 10, then you are getting your money's worth as long as you've built a good team, which you can. But look at these guys. These are all guys that are making money or will make money. And except Baker will. I mean, you would think Baker will make more at some point soon, but that's fine. Now, this is coming off a year that wasn't as great as you'd like, right? I think it was definitely, from being almost an MVP, it's definitely an MVP candidate 2 years ago. But I'm fine. Now the question is is he closer to 15 or 9?
Yeah.
After this year. And I've got confidence that he can be closer to 9 than 15. I mean, all these guys in tier 3 have, Kyler, major injuries. Does he study the playbook? Aaron, does he have anything left? Tua, can he stay on the field? Trevor Lawrence, all these, there's another level, I think, of big question marks here when we get to these guys at tier 3. Michael says Purdy was 12 last year.
Okay. Which, yeah. I mean, if he can climb into the top 10 or, up closer to that 7 range, that's going to be so good in the Kyle Shanahan system. And I wonder what, Matt Ryan, the MVP year, was he in tier 1 that year, I wonder? Or does it go back this far?
No, I don't think Sando. I don't think it was.
Retroactively, it's got to go back. But that might have been the best quarterback Shanahan's played with for a season. But how close can Purdy get to that point? And like you said, Jalen Hurts is tied for 9th, and that won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that was after he won the Super Bowl. He got tied for he wasn't 9 going into that. Right?
Yeah.
hold on, I'm just updating the title on this YouTube video. Even though the thumbnail, we'll change this to tiers, make it a little more clickable.
So
I'm a little surprised at Rodgers at 16. It's so weird seeing him in a Steelers uniform.
It's like Michael Jordan Wizards, Randy Moss Titans,
Jerry Rice Raiders.
Yeah,
for a minute Seahawks.
I think I would flip Dak and Brock, but Brock Purdy, excuse me. Dak 11 touchdowns, 8 picks last year, got hurt, getting paid so much money. But being the Cowboys quarterback, there's hidden value in that, it seems.
There's no doubt. I mean, but I just to me, what scares me off about Dak, and I think Dak's really good too. Like all these guys are so good. I know I say it all the time, but the old the Kyle Shanahan quote that I love, right? There aren't 32 people on the face of the earth that can play quarterback at an acceptable level. It's such a great quote, and this guy plays at an acceptable level. But watching him in the playoffs, particularly against the Niners, with watching their end of game operation when they didn't get the ball spiked in time, that whole thing, like, how do you want to? Now that's partly McCarthy too, right? Yeah. But man,
he hasn't done anything at all. But
he's put up great numbers, though. He really has, and they're not totally hollow. But all right, I'm going to play something. We can get back to. We got some comments here on the tier, so we'll get back to that. But I need, Connor, your honest. Well, I actually addressed this the other day. I went back and watched it. Three criticisms. One, I said it was a foot to go. It was an inch to go when it was a foot to go. You caught that. The other one, I saw this on a comment on the. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. A comment on the channel. Somebody said about Tim Ryan. Tell Tim Ryan to back off you. LOL. Dude is too big. So this is what it looks like. For those of you listening, you can't see this, but this is what it looks like. We're on camera. The good news is, Connor, I've made some adjustments.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got on some creatine. I went to Panama with Kittle and did what, and we're good. We're good. We've made some adjustments.
I think the one thing, maybe not the size, I think maybe hit the tanning salon. The tanning booth.
The tan is another problem.
The tan is something.
And normally I feel like I can hang when it comes to hair in the booth, but oh my God.
Yeah,
not with Tim. It's so good.
He's looking good. You guys look great, but yeah, that's a great adjustment. Or you can stand a little closer to the camera.
Yeah, I could do. That's right. A little forced perspective.
Yeah.
Where'd that go? Oh, I lost it. Anyway, so yeah, there you go.
That's great.
Okay, now here's the other thing. So I was, I love. We do a lot of stuff together. I love Larry Krueger. It's my guy.
Yep.
So I'm watching Larry. Larry, one of the first people to watch camp and say, I think Brock Purdy's good. Back when Brock was getting like 2 snaps, it was like, Larry and Brian Greasy. And so I want your honest opinion here. Okay. I was watching Larry's film breakdown, and I'm going to play what Larry said. Then I'm going to play the clip that he's talking about. And okay. So here we go. This is Larry. He's breaking down a Nick Martin play.
Okay.
And Nick Martin chases it from behind. And listening to Guy Haberman on the TV call, he's like, Nick Martin chases him and he can't get him. And it's like, oh, and you're sitting there going, darn, Nick Martin, he blew it. Nick Martin, what happened? Why didn't Nick Martin make that play? Oh, poor, it's like, Everybody stands up. Nick Martin.
All right, so I can't quite tell, is Larry fully blaming me for any Nick Martin opinions that came out of that play? And he's doing an impression of me, which I don't think my voice is that high, but I'm going to play the play now.
Yeah.
And you tell me, A, did I represent the play properly? And B, did Larry represent me properly?
Okay.
About for him, if he's going to be a major factor on this offense, is that consistency.
RJ Harvey bounces it outside. Nick Martin can't catch him, and he picks up a first down before Siegel hits him.
All right, your thoughts.
Okay.
Be honest.
I think Nick Martin is the only one that has a chance to make a tackle in that play. I don't think there was many. I don't think you said Nick Martin 5 times like Larry thought you said it. Also, in Nick Martin and Nick Martin and Nick Martin. But yeah, maybe don't say Nick Martin and say the 49ers push the guy outside.
So here's the thing. He's not saying that I said it that many times, right? He's just saying that I lead people to think that Nick should have made the play. That's really the heart of it, right? Should have made the play. And did I make it sound like he should have made the play?
Yeah, you're pushing your agenda.
Correct.
Against Nick
Am
Martin.
I pushing my agenda?
The Winters guy.
My anti-Nick Martin agenda here. What do you think?
It didn't seem off to me. It seemed like a normal play, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm really going to look for the Nick Martin slander.
Yeah.
And Nick Martin chases it from behind. And listening to Guy Haberman on the TV call, he's like, Nick Martin chases him and he can't get him. And it's
all right. One more.
About for him, if he's going to be a major factor on this offense, is that consistency.
RJ Harvey bounces it outside. Nick Martin can't catch him, and he picks up a first down before Siegel hits him.
Your voice elevates.
Was I fair?
I think what it is, your voice elevates as the guy's running down the sideline, Harvey, and there's a big hit that happens, and so the excitement level increases as you're finishing saying Nick Martin, and that's my only thought is about how it became like a bigger play for Nick Martin, but it was him missing the tackle.
So
taking that angle. Yeah,
all right. So I have an opinion here, which is that I watched the play several times after yesterday, I guess. Yesterday. And then I watched Larry's video today. And I'll say 2 things. One, watching the breakdown of the play, it really isn't Nick. I think Larry's right. It's not Nick Martin's tackle to make. Like, he's coming from the complete other side. It was an incredible effort. We're joking about my anti-Nick Martin agenda. I'm very pro Nick Martin. I'm 2, I don't think I think I am happy with the way I said it. And I'll add a 3rd. And 3, Larry's actually right. He's correct. Even though I didn't sound the way he said I sounded, the way he sounded is the way I was thinking. So Larry actually he's right. And I was wrong on that play. I was describing that play like I thought Nick Martin should have made that tackle. Now, I do think I couched it the way I said it. I was like right on the edge of saying Nick Martin should, but I also left myself some wiggle room to not make it sound critical of Nick. Because I don't really know. Like, in real time, sometimes you just can't. Where did he come from? Where was he? Whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm defending myself in the sense that, like, I was happy with the way I said it, but I have to admit, Larry's actually right. In that call, believe it or not, I won't say I'm not being critical, but I did call it with the belief that Nick should have made that play. So I started this, I think, I wanted people to believe that I was going to defend myself, but actually Larry is correct. I thought Nick should have made that play.
Interesting. And that's a whole nother layer that actually taps in, like, fans probably don't know as much, is there's almost a predictive element in how you're calling certain plays and how it's developing and how to, like, there's the voice inflections. How do you just think about it on the fly? Like you said, you saw Nick Martin, you kind of like talked about him, should be making the tackle. Is that every single play essentially? Or is that the big plays? You sort of have to predict what you're saying.
Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. That's why you got an analyst who can really see it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, look. Someone said you're always right here. Always looking for feedback.
Yeah.
Film study right here.
Here's a comment. Stop rehashing your job. You did well. This is just splitting hairs. But this is the point. This is why I'm doing it. I'm not going to do this every time. But this is what we do. This is YouTube. There's no commercial breaks. I mean, there can be, but I'm just saying, like, we just go for as long as we want and then we stop. And so I get that sometimes, like when we talk, like, stop splitting hair on games. Like, that's what else are we doing if we're not here splitting hairs? So I'm here to split hairs. The reason I brought it up is because I just thought it was a little. This is not going to become a broadcast analysis YouTube channel and podcast. I promise you. Why are you looking at me like that?
No.
It's not. But I did think it was an interesting example of just like there's a subtlety to it. And you know, I think Larry sees a lot of subtleties in football, and he's very observant. And he was right. Like that is what I was saying. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is specifically because it's Nick Martin, who I think has gotten a lot of criticism from this game. And I even said yesterday, you watched my thing, like I said, I don't think it was a great game for him, but it also it's his first game. I think it's a really hard position to play. I think at this point, you're looking for the raw material. He's got the raw material. You know, look at D Winters. It's been a work in progress, and hopefully this is the year that it all comes together for him. Right? Like it takes time for like that's where like Marquis Siegel I think is really interesting. They're really fast.
Yeah.
But it's a really hard position to play right away. Safety, like I'd put safety. Oh, I mean, first of all, they're all hard to play right away. Receivers are a really hard position to play right away. Well, the Niners might be relying on a rookie receiver, Jordan Watkins, to be able to be the guy that figures it out. Can I give you a stat that on Jordan Watkins that I think is really interesting? I didn't get a chance to.
Yes.
I'm going to try and use it this week or maybe next week. Normally, I wouldn't give it out. I don't want somebody else to have it, but whatever. I'll use it. So Nick Martin, I'm sorry, not Nick Martin. Did I say Jordan Watkins? Jordan Watkins had a baby last year while he was at Ole Miss. He had a daughter.
Oh.
So here's, if you want to be optimistic on a big jump from Brock Purdy this year, now that he's a father. I looked this up. Last year, prenatal, Jordan Watkins at Ole Miss in 6 games had 13 catches. Postnatal, he had 36 catches in 6 games. Same number of games, prenatal, postnatal. No one ever does. When you go to Football Reference, you don't get prenatal and postnatal splits.
You don't. The dad strength.
You get home run. That's right. Prenatal, 13 catches. Postnatal, 36 catches for Jordan Watkins. You imagine if Purdy 3X's his production postnatal?
Oh.
McCaffrey?
That's a lot of touchdowns. That's a lot of yards. And that'll get him just to tier 2. Everything, number 9.
Everything I hear about postnatal life, I'm not expecting to 3X my production postnatal, but I'm hoping if I could just maintain production, that'd be great.
That's a great stat.
That's a great
Jordan
stat.
Watkins.
Yeah.
He looks like a player. He looks like a player. The slot fade, the Niners hit deep balls, you know?
Oh, how about that?
They
hit one to Pearsall the other day in practice too. Purdy
He's going to have to probably start. And Juwan Jennings, how much is he costing himself, unfortunately, with his injury? And how is that injury coming up in negotiations for Jennings?
I don't know. I mean, it's all part. There's a lot in that soup right now between the calf. Would he still be practicing? You feel like, yes, that's what he was doing. But if you're his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, like you feel like you got leverage right now, given the 49ers were, DeMarcus Robinson still waiting on that suspension. But he's looked really good. They're gonna miss him when he's gone for however long he's going to be gone early in the year.
Yeah. Need pass catchers, but
what'd you think?
Kittle,
they did. How about them trying to get the ball? A couple Debo plays for Jordan Watkins. Didn't quite have him blocked up. I don't think.
Yeah, he had a rough. I mean, I think it looks like he's, taken a big step, or they really like him. They're feeding them the ball, and he can make plays. And so I think he'll be around. The Nick Martin, the one he forced a fumble, so that's good. He was around the ball, but the new linebacker in the NFL now is smaller, right? Because the speed of the game, the running. It's not Patrick Willis, it's not Ray Lewis, Navarro Bowman. Nick Martin is 5'11". He's not big for linebacker. Fred Warner's 6'3", 220 or so, and Nick Martin's 5'11". And is there a size problem? I mean, it worked at the Big 12, but is that also potentially part of the issue? I mean,
yeah, I mean it's all a factor, but luckily, arm length, luckily he's fast enough. It's a good question. I mean, to me, for linebackers, that stuff always comes in from a health standpoint, right? Can you stay healthy, like in the contact? And we saw I think that was probably one of the questions last year, Malik Mustafa. Now he got hurt, but it wasn't a size thing. How do you look? How does Nick Martin look next to Tim Ryan in the booth? These are all questions that are fair.
Just a little forward that,
yeah, just a little forward. Good would be the answer to that. So I don't know. These are all. There's just so many. You think back last year in camp, Jacob Cowing, right in the preseason, made some plays. Yeah, and I remember asking Kyle Shanahan in our press conference about it, and he was like, "There's just so much that a rookie receiver has to do." It's just so hard. But Watkins is going to get that. Ayuk did it. Ayuk made an impact as a rookie, so it can be done. It can be done. But
does the defensive energy look better with Robert Saleh? One game, hard to tell.
I just think it's cool to see Robert running around on the sidelines and being Robert Saleh. I think they're pretty fired up, and I also think the other thing we haven't gotten a chance really to talk a lot about is Gus Bradley. Gus was there for the birth of the Legion of Boom, and the way that those guys play has obviously evolved since then. But I think the combination of those two guys is going to be really interesting. And then the other part of it is does it go well? You hope so. Does Robert get another job? He, as a head coach, I think he'll probably have another. I don't know if it's this year, but in the next couple of years, if he's got a top 6 defense again, it's hard for the defensive guys, but he'll have a shot. I think he's so respected. Is Gus Bradley still, if Robert needs 2 years to become a head coach, does Gus Bradley stay for 2 years? Does he become somebody else's defensive coordinator? Remember last year you had not Steve Wilkes, but what's his name? The secondary coach.
Brandon Staley?
You had Brandon Staley hanging around. It's like, okay, well, maybe Brandon Staley is the Nick Sorensen replacement if it doesn't go well. And the answer was it didn't go well, and he wasn't the replacement. But I think there's a lot of respect for Gus Bradley. And I think he's not just like a guy hanging. I think he really is, especially when it comes to the secondary, impacting this defense. And I think that's the combination of the two. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. So, but again, it's complicated. Like I made the point yesterday on the video, like one of the reasons that Upton Stout seemingly is able to step in so quickly is because he comes from a complicated defense at Western Kentucky. But it's a challenge. You're asking, you want Renardo and Lenore, you want these guys healthy. They can be practiced. They're not we'll go out there today, but you want them out there practicing. And hopefully the Niners they're supposed to be getting some guys back this week for this practice against the Raiders. So hopefully that happens. And
I mean, it's begun because every single one of the 49ers defensive backs has a Q or an O next to them on the ESPN depth chart. All the starters. So Renardo, Jair Brown, Malik Mustafa, Lenore, and Upton Stout.
Yeah.
So it begins.
I know we got to get those guys, but I think it's a lot of little tweaks. Nicks, bumps. I love when we say like nicks and bumps. Like a nick is when I bump my hip on the dishwasher. It's football. It's a different level. But one other thing, did you see this? Louis Riddick tweeted yesterday. Trey Lance is with the right program, right coach, right QB. Room, no BS, no agendas. He's got a chance to see what he could actually become now. Happy AF for him. # bolt up. We're going to get Harbaugh and Trey Lance week 3. I'm very excited. I think I would imagine maybe Shanahan gets asked this week. That's what we did last year, right? It's like the third game was the game that Purdy played in and those guys. So hopefully that is the home game against the Chargers and Trey Lance.
It's getting a lot of reactions. I don't fully disagree.
Oh, curveball.
Right, listen, I mean, Shanahan's system is, I don't know the complication levels, but Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh have done this before with a similar type of quarterback in a way. I mean, Colin Kaepernick was more of a pure runner than Trey Lance, but Harbaugh is so much more downhill running the ball, and it seems Shanahan's system is much more complicated intricacies that I don't fully hate that. I mean, it's going all the way far saying that, making that take, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to play ever. So it's fun reaction.
I'm rooting for him. I mean, any guy that has, the same as the Alex Smith, the Baker, the stuff I said before. So you're rooting for him. Like you just want to see him settle into whatever a career is. I think he's getting what he needs, it seems like now, which is a lot of opportunity to play. And there's no question that Jim Harbaugh has a very positive effect, gets the most out of quarterbacks. So does Kyle Shanahan. Like Kyle Shanahan also gets the most out of quarterbacks. Like it's rare that a guy who plays for Shanahan. Now Darnold went off but Darnold, but it's rare that like you go off and find more. So now that said, you can't deny the situation that Trey was in. When they drafted him, I thought it was a great situation for him. Because I thought, look, it's this really good team. You're not going to be asked to do too much. But I was incorrect. What it turned out is the opposite. It's like when you have a team that has to win, it just puts or that is in win now mode or ready to win or however you want to characterize it. It's just a really tough spot. And college coaches have said this to me over the years, and it's true. PJ Fleck, the Minnesota coach, the former 49er, was on the show. He said, the NFL is not really a developmental league, right? It's you develop in college, you get to the NFL, and your development occurs kind of on your own in the offseason. This is a generalization. Yep. It's not totally true, but like if you need work on your footwork, if you need mechanical work, that is not happening in OTAs and it's not happening in training camp. So, here comes Trey Lance, who hadn't played a lot in college, and then has the COVID year, so plays like remember they played like one game in October, just one game, and then he leaves to get ready for the draft, and then North Dakota State ends up playing. The FCS schedule that year was in the spring of 2021.
Right.
So he just didn't play. It's just so, I mean, hopefully he's had a chance to take a breath, develop, rely. That situation, it will go down as one of the most bizarre. I think it is underrated how crazy it is that Mac Jones is in the red and gold now. Like 5 years later, here he is. Mm-hmm. I can't. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The trickle down effect of everything too is Brock Purdy get drafted, Mac Jones. I don't know. It's all crazy. But the one thing about Louis Riddick, I think it is crazy putting him with calling the right program now versus Shanahan's, comparing Shanahan's system. But I think this is more a compliment to Harbaugh, and like Harbaugh got so much out of Alex Smith. He got so much out of Colin Kaepernick, and I just think there's less. Yeah, like you said, less pressure. He can sort of develop it on the backside, and I don't know. I think that was more about Harbaugh versus Shanahan because Trey Lance is not coming from Cleveland; it's coming from the Niners.
Well, he's coming from Dallas. Like that's part of what Lewis is talking about too, right? It's like Jerry Jones traded for him. Mike McCarthy didn't want it. You know what I mean? Like that, he got forced on a coach. So it's hard to know exactly what Lewis is. There's an agenda here. Like he's got something to say here too. I shouldn't say agenda, but Dante says Lance's mechanics and footwork look way better. He also looks faster. I thought that was one of the surprising things about watching with the 49ers is he looked uncomfortable as a runner. everything was moving really quickly, and he wasn't comfortable as a runner. I thought he looked like a much more, and I know it's the FCS level, but he looked like a much more comfortable runner in college. And maybe he's more comfortable now, but big game.
Trey Lance, Mac Jones on August 23rd for the Chargers.
And Harbaugh.
And Harbaugh. Wow.
This is crazy.
Preseason storylines. Yeah.
It's crazy. And we got the Raiders this week.
That's right. What are you looking for this week? What are you honed in on? I mean, we talked defensive line. I mean, the young guys, clearly.
Yeah, another opportunity. Like Alfred Collins just needs reps, to miss OTAs. He needs to be out there. You don't know. Once the season starts, it gets harder. I think, like I said, the Nick Martin D winners, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, all that stuff. Like, that's valuable. Somebody blocking Max Crosby would be good.
Yep.
I think right now, given kind of how banged up, just my thing with Ricky Pearsall is I think he's good enough to impact this team. It's just got to be out there healthy today. Be out, no hamstring tweaks, that sort of thing. No shoulder. Be out there healthy today. Be out there healthy tomorrow. Get through practice on Thursday. Probably won't play in the game Saturday, but same thing the next week. He's got momentum. Like, you can feel it. Ricky's got some momentum right now. He's making plays. He's healthy. He's looking fresh. He finished last year strong. Like, I think it's really clicking for him. And obviously doing it in practice is different doing it in a game. But the Niners, I didn't realize the Niners put out the video a couple of days ago after the joint practice with Denver of the catch he had on a deep ball on Jahdae Barron. It was a great play. So I just, that's probably top of the list. I think coming out of the first preseason game, Marquis Siegel, like that. What are you grinning about?
What are you looking at? Comment.
What you got?
Siegel. Yeah. He's going to do a Jake Moody kick. That's another thing.
Probably will.
Can Jake Moody make an extra point in Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah. Great point. I think his Senior Bowl was at Allegiant. No, that wouldn't have made sense. He played some game at Allegiant.
Super Bowl?
No, well, the Super Bowl, but before that, I think he'd kicked at Allegiant too. But anyway.
Do you like the new kickoff rule?
You mean last year's rule or the change this year?
The update.
My first inclination is to say no. It just looks weird. But of course it looks weird. It's totally different. It's brand new.
Yeah.
I will say, after watching it play out, going into the game, I didn't like it. And then watching it play out in the game, I'm open to it. Because it does create returns. A touchback being at the 35 is crazy. The Niners last year allowed the second worst starting field position on returns, the 31.2 yard line. Only Tennessee allowed the opponent, when they returned the ball on a kickoff, better field position. No one really gets to the 35 on these returns. So you are incentivized to kick it short. But I think last year the league average on returns was the 27. So last year, if there was a touchback, the ball came out to the 30. On returns last year, guys got to about the 27. So clearly there was some data that they still felt like there were too many touchbacks. So now they made it to 35. And I do think it's a really critical part. When we're evaluating Moody against anybody, it's about field goals. It's about extra points. It's also about this. Can you land the ball? Ideally you can bounce it and it goes into the end zone and then it comes out to the 20. But that's really hard, because if it bounced, the returner is incentivized. He's going to return it.
Yeah.
But nobody's getting a 35, really, it feels like, right, on these returns.
No, 35 seems start. And wasn't it 25? I mean, 20, 25, now 35. You're making the field much shorter.
Yeah, it's more points.
More points. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I love the 35 aspect, but
I'll tell you what I do like it. Potentially less kicker tackles.
Yeah.
I want less kicker tackles. Although last year wasn't. I think the theory last year was it would be more. This would mean more kicker tackles because if you get past the first wave. But I think one thing that's clear, it's really hard to block on these things.
Yeah.
Because
you can't set up any.
Yeah, you can't set up. You have to turn, run back to the ball. So you're back. It's weird. These guys, they have such a head start. They did before too, but now there's so much less space for you to catch back up to. You got to turn, find the ball, turn back. It's really hard to block it. So.
Yeah, I just don't love it in general, but I don't think it's gonna go back to how it was. The kickoff format, that is.
I agree with you. I don't know. I think let me think. Do I agree with you? Yeah, I guess I do agree with you. It's so much different than the college kickoff, though. It's funny how many rules are so different in college and the NFL, and that's a big one. Somebody said, more importantly, what is that relic over guy's shoulder? Is that a rotary phone? Also, does it work? Yes, it is. It's actually, let's see, can you hear? Can you hear that?
No.
It's connected to another one in another part of the house. So I put in like a little intercom system with old phones.
I love that. That's cool. With the ring dialer or the whatever.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, it's like the rotary. Yeah. And then
That's
there's
awesome.
another one somewhere else in the house, and you pick it up. The other one rings, like you're ordering some food at the turn, or talking to somebody in prison or prison.
Yeah. Or saying, "Hey, Trey Lance, you're going to be a 49er."
Yeah, that's right. Calling somebody out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck with the rest of your move. I didn't mean to keep you so long. You got stuff to go do. You got a big farewell party. If anybody sees fireworks coming from San Francisco, that's Connor's. It's coming from Nob Hill.
That's right. That's right.
All right. We'll talk
thanks
soon.
for having me. And
anything else to add?
Nope. Have a good week of practice. And
let's go get after it.
Hit them hard.